I really wanted to like this one. I really did. I genuinely thought that this movie was gonna be good. I was wrong. Um, so I saw Tom and Jerry, the new Tom and Jerry movie that was released to theaters and HBO Max a couple days ago. It wasn't very good. Now, for context, I love the classic Tom and Jerry cartoons. I always get a kick out of them whenever I watch one of them. Yeah, the Gene Dench and the Chuck Jones cartoons, those are fine, and some of the later incarnations, those are okay. But the classic cartoons by Hanna-Barbera, those are just fantastic. Like, some of the best pieces of animation I've ever seen in my life. I've seen quite a bit of animation in my day, but still. The classic Tom and Jerry cartoons, amazing. And so, but literally everything else aside from the original series from Tom and Jerry hasn't really been that good or noticeable. Of course, there were the new cartoons. Well, not new. The other cartoons, the actual cartoons by Gene Dench, who sadly passed away last year. May he rest in peace. And by Looney Tunes director Chuck Jones. Those were okay, but not as good with Hanna-Barbera. Weird. The Flintstones guys made a better cartoon. The Flintstones guy did better than the Looney Tunes guy. How does that work? Then there were all these weird experiments in the 70s all the way up to the 90s. Most notably be Tom and Jerry Kids. I have not seen Tom and Jerry Kids, but I really don't want to. And then there was Tom and Jerry the movie from 1992, I believe, which has been critically panned, mainly for the sheer fact that it's just a bad movie, and the fact that they made Tom and Jerry speak throughout the entirety of it. That was not a good idea. Then the 2000s, WB brought back Tom and Jerry with Tom and Jerry Tales. I haven't watched that show in years, but I remember liking it okay. And at the same time, they started to release a bunch of direct-to-video Tom and Jerry movies, like Tom and Jerry Blast Off to Mars, The Secret Ring, The Magic Ring or something, like Fast and the Furry. And there were even a couple crossover movies. Now, some of them were just adaptations of famous stories, like they did a Robin Hood one and a Nutcracker one. But they also did some legit crossovers, like such as 2 crossovers with The Wizard of Oz, a crossover with another Hanna-Barbera property, Jonny Quest, and most infamously, Tom and Jerry, Willy Wonka, and the Chocolate Factory. I have seen that movie, and I wish I hadn't. But since and Cartoon Network also aired the new show, like Tom and Jerry. The Tom and Jerry show, I think it was called. I forgot the name of it, but I remember it being I don't know. But really, since Tom and Jerry, Willy Wonka, and the Chocolate Factory, there hasn't really been new Tom and Jerry content until WB announced that they will be making a live-action animated hybrid film adaptation on the Tom and Jerry cartoons done by the folks at Warner Animation Group, the same company behind the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie. So the film is about this lady who gets hired at a hotel because she stole another woman's resume. Yeah, she stole another woman's resume, ripped off her name, and the hotel manager doesn't suspect a thing out of it. Yeah, Louise from Ant-Man is just like, oh, man, I mean, you're suspicious, man. I apologize for my horrible Louise impression. Yeah, I don't know the actor's name, so I'm just gonna. I don't know any of the actors' names aside from Colin Jost, so I'm just going to call them by characters that I know from other stuff that they were in. Again, I only recognize one other actor. Oh wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong is in this movie. I forgot he was even in that. I forgot he was in this. Yeah, Ken Jeong's in the movie, and yeah. Basically, what's happening at this hotel is that a big wedding is happening by these two influencers. I think they don't really explain who these people are specifically. Like, we know who these people are, but we don't know what they do or why they're such a big deal. I think it was said that they were royal, but they act a whole lot like influencers and not at all like royalty. But I don't know. Maybe they're just celebrities. I don't know what these people are, and I don't care. Most of the acting, I will admit, it's pretty decent. You could tell that the actors were at least trying to give a crap throughout this movie. But Colin Jost, he did not care at all. It clearly tells with his performance. He is phoning the crap out of this movie. This big wedding's going to be going on, but they discover that there's a mouse in the hotel. And what is that mouse? It's Jerry. Yes, it's Jerry. So Tom and Jerry do have something to do in a movie that is called Tom and Jerry. So after Tom breaks into the hotel to get Jerry, our main character is like, hey, we don't want to get some pest control to get the mouse out. Otherwise, people are going to figure out that we have mice, and it will be good for business. And the manager's like, yeah, we should hire an animal. Well, or else PETA's going to call discrimination because we didn't hire an animal. So let's get the cat. Yeah, they say something like that in the movie. I don't know if you've noticed, but Tom and Jerry don't have a lot to do in a movie that is called Tom and Jerry.
Do you see the problem here?
This movie is just another one of those freaking movies from the 2000s and early 2010s where you adapt an old cartoon and focus 80% of the runtime to the human characters that nobody cares about. And you add a bunch of crappy pop culture references and poop jokes. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Garfield, the Smurfs, even Transformers to an extent, they all fall into these categories. And nobody likes them, yet we still go to see them. It almost feels like there wasn't really any effort put into it. And I say almost because, like I said, most of the acting is pretty good. And another aspect which I think is very well done, and that is the animation. Yes, the animation in the film is actually really freaking good. Taking a page from films such as the Peanuts movie and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where you do CG, but it's actually trying to resemble the 2D style that these characters originated from. And, for the most part, they pull it off. There are a few scenes where some models look a bit janky, but I think they did a good job. And specifically when Tom and Jerry are doing their traditional slapstick, which is easily the highlight of the film, where the animation really shines. So going back to the story real quick, there's another interesting thing with the animation and the story. This movie doesn't really do a whole lot when it comes to explaining the world of this movie. Now, I know you might not be looking for world building in a Tom and Jerry movie, but let's look at some other live action animation hybrids, like Space Jam, for instance. Space Jam set its rules of its universe very early on, where anybody in this cartoon world could do cartoon physics. Hence, Wayne Knight could puff up in the air and blow like a balloon, and Michael Jordan could stretch his arm out to win the game. Here, they don't really explain the rules on how things work. Like, okay, so all the animals are cartoon characters. Cool. But here's the thing. Some animals are treated like people, while other animals are treated like animals. Now, this type of concept could be okay in a 7-minute animated short you watch before you see an actual movie, but this is that actual movie that you see. So you have to explain things a little better. Like, you gotta explain the world a little bit more. Oh, God. It doesn't help either that we keep on focusing on these human characters that nobody cares a crap. Nobody gives a crap about these human characters. We just want to see Tom and Jerry hit each other. So what are my overall thoughts on this movie? If you just want to see some Tom and Jerry violence, you're going to get it, but it's very scarce throughout the film. You have to watch a whole bunch of human crap to get to the part that you actually came to see. Now, granted, a good chunk of those scenes do have Tom and Jerry fooling around in the background. But there are some scenes where Tom and Jerry aren't in it at all, and it's just these human characters talking and saying really cringy, unfunny lines, and you don't care about it. You just want to see the cat and mouse chase each other. So, I'd recommend this movie as the kid distractor. Pretty much. It does have some good acting and some pretty good animation. So some effort was put onto this movie. I will admit that. But not all of the effort was put there. There's possibility to make a good Tom and Jerry movie. You just have to keep the focus on Tom and Jerry and not treat them like side characters in their own movie. So, did this video make any sense? Probably not, but I hope you still enjoyed it nonetheless. I had some things to say about this movie. I didn't enjoy it, really. But, what did you guys think of Tom and Jerry? And, what is your favorite memory from Tom and Jerry? Please, let me know down in the comments below. Or don't. I don't care. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the other thing. And also ring the bell right next to that little subscribe button to be notified and stuff. Anyway, guys, I will see you later. Bye.